Hello again. Time for part 3. So let's move on. Next film is Steven Spielberg's Munich. I haven't had time to watch this yet. And I don't know what to say about it. It looked... I don't know about you, but I'm not really a big fan. I used to be a diehard fan of Spielberg. But I think when he made War of the Worlds, I think we started to see him go down the tube a little bit. Even I was disappointed in the 4th Indiana Jones film. I will be honest with you in saying that. I thought that's another thing. Indiana Jones, it looked okay on the big screen. It was a joy to see Indy back on the big screen, but I thought the story was not up to snuff for Indiana Jones. I'm sorry. But Munich, I have yet to watch this. I know it's supposed to be kind of a downer film. It's based on a true story about what happened in Munich after the Olympics, or during the Olympics, I forget what, in this, 1972. Film stars Eric Bana and Jeffrey Rush and Daniel Craig's what it looks like. But yeah, Munich. Next film I just saw today, and this is I was watching it today at work because there was a lot of downtime, so I took this long. But it's a 1976 film, Network, starring Faye Dunaway, Robert Duvall, and Peter Finch. This was actually a really good movie. It's not a uplifting story, I will tell you that. This was gritty 70s Hollywood. It's kind of difficult to explain, how it does involve like the big 3 networks, and now we have 4 big networks. We have CBS, ABC, NBC, and Fox. Well, back in the 70s, you didn't have Fox. You didn't even have a 4th network. There was just the big 3. And so they create this fictitious 4th network called the UBS. And a lot of things are going on because it's a lot of depressed, people are depressed in what's going on in the world in 1976. Strangely, what they're talking about in 1976, we're kind of dealing with today. It holds up really well, I think. The only difference would be if this movie were made today, they would probably talk more about the cable news networks rather than broadcast television, because back in the 1970s it was a different atmosphere and cable TV just didn't exist. If it did exist, it was just starting. But there was no such thing as CNN or Fox News or anything like that. But I think if this movie were made today, it would be about, a news network organization. Next one, I also upgraded the Neverending Story on Blu-ray. It looked really good. I actually looked it up on Blu-ray.com. They said the transfer is really good. And, Warner Brothers did a phenomenal job of, bringing this to Blu-ray, but no bonus features. The same with the DVD. There was there was more bonus there was actually bonus features on the DVD, but it was more like text. There's nothing on this. You just get the movie in high definition and surround sound. The reason why I picked this up, because also, not only is it in high definition, but the movie is in widescreen. The movie was never released on DVD and widescreen. But in this, you see the full 2.35 to 1 ratio, which is really nice to see, because this is a film that you would want to see that ratio in, because of all the matte paintings and special effects of that time. Next up, Rocky 2. Thought I should add to my Rocky collection. Of course, the video store I went to was there's a video store in Muncie that buys, sells, and trades a lot of DVDs. They had most of the Rocky films, but I'm kind of holding off on them because they had most of the ones I saw they had were the first edition Rocky on DVD, which came in this big box set, and it wouldn't be consistent with me. It had, when you line the spines up, it formed the picture of Rocky in the ring with the American flag draped over him, if you know the shot I'm talking about. But yeah, it's a fairly recent DVD because it's the 20th Century Fox MGM DVD, not the regular MGM DVD. Yeah, my brother was actually watching most of these today on AMC. They've been running a marathon. But yeah, Rocky 2. Yo, Adrian! One more thing about Rocky 2. People get the Rocky 1 and 2 mixed up because both films have Apollo Creed, where he's facing Apollo Creed. But if you've seen both movies, Rocky does not win in part 1. He wins in part 2. This is the rematch against Apollo Creed. And he wins the rematch. Next one. Now this is actually a gem to me for right now. The Blu-ray Diamond Edition of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Yeah, on price for $20 because they went back into the Disney Vault. Matter of fact, on this day, the sale was to end of this, Pinocchio, Bambi, Snow White, Pinocchio, Bambi, and I believe Beauty and the Beast? Yeah, Beauty and the Beast, because they were all going back into the famous vault, not to be seen or heard from in 10 years, because that's generally when Disney puts these out, is every 10 years. Well, I don't need to say much more. Disney always does phenomenal jobs with, especially these diamond editions. You can't go wrong. I've yet to see Disney do a bad edition of something like this. Next film is a DVD of The Social Network, which is an interesting film. Excuse me. I must say, I think David Fincher did a phenomenal job of telling the story. And I'm just going to briefly show you this. How cool is that? You open it up, you don't get the 500 million friends without making a few enemies. That's the box sleeve. Now this thing's a little bit tricky to get out. Sorry, I gotta put it down for a minute. As you can see, it's a little bit tough to get out. Ah, man, come on. Finally, I'm not going to pull it all the way out, but there's a picture of, what's his name, Jesse Eisenberg as Mark Zuckerberg. Punk, prophet, genius, billionaire, traitor. And enough is enough, because this case is a pain in the butt. But uniquely designed. I think it's cool. You see, it says a social network on the side, and there's the back. What I got to say about this movie is, you know, I myself have a Facebook account, and man, this guy's I almost want to think this guy's a jerk. You know, because it does kind of bring him up in a positive light, but also he was willing to smear the way he was smearing all his girlfriends and all the other crap. He'd love to, you know, he'd love to come down on people. He smeared them. But, you know, he started something that millions of Americans do. And we'll move right along. I'm almost at the 15 mark on part 3. I picked up at the same Dave's Video Spot in Muncie, I guess is, you know, it's buy-seller trade. I picked up this Star Wars Trilogy bonus material disc, which I assume came with the original box set DVD when the original trilogy was issued out on DVD for the first time. And I thought, you know, this is actually cool because it has a full documentary on about the making of the original Star Wars trilogy. It has a documentary called Empire of Dreams on here, which was an A&E television special. It's on here. There's a bunch of other behind-the-scenes trivia, and it's just loaded. So I thought I'd, you know, add that to my Star Wars collection. But that's it for part 3. We'll see you in the next one, which will be the last part.